A friend of mine, Dr. Pat Utomi, recently had a cancer diagnosis, and I believe he's going to be all right. But this is cancer. And when I heard that he had that diagnosis, one thing that struck with me is that I wanted to give him his flowers while he was alive. And I'm sure he's going to be alive for a very long time. But a lot of people actually wait for people to go before they give them their flowers. Now, I'm just going to tell you a story, and I hope this story inspires you. It's a story of how Pat Utomi helped me become a dollar millionaire in my 30s. And look, I lived in California in the United States. I had a decent job. I was earning a slightly over $70,000 a year, and by the time they took tax away, the tax was a lot of money. And so I was. If you live in California, a lot of money is not a lot of money. So you've got to be very innovative. You've got to create money. And so in 2007, this new social media technology had just come out, Facebook, and I was one of the first users of Facebook. And I just thought, look, this thing, it has a lot of potential. Pat Utomi himself was another first user, and I'd never met him before. I'd never met him before. But then one day in 2007, he wrote something on social media, and when I read it, I don't want to use the word that I knew he could do better. And because I knew that this is a fellow who had a degree in mass communication, and he was read all the way to PhD level in the United States. So I contacted him. At that time with Facebook, it was very easy to DM people. You just go on their profile, you click a button, and then you send them emails. Obviously, a lot of people were doing that to famous people, and they never responded. So I just felt, okay, this was going to be the same thing. I'm going to send him a message. He's never going to respond. So I sent him a DM, and I explained to him. I said, I admire you so much ever since I was a child. I read something that you put on Facebook, and this is actually not grammatically correct. The punctuations are way off, and I know that you can do it. So my belief is that you were probably angry or upset when you wrote that. In any case, this is the proper grammar, this is the proper lexis, and these are the proper pronunciations, punctuations. And I sent it to him with my phone number. And I just felt, okay, that's that. It was a cold email. I'm never going to hear from him. That same day at night, because you got to understand, he lives in Nigeria. I lived at that time in California. I got a call. And then, I mean, I'm one of these people that I keep my phones on at night because, opportunity, especially when you're that young, I was in my early 30s. And then it was Patty told me, just out of the blue, and I was surprised. He said, I read your DM. I read it very, very interestingly, and you were quite right. I was actually angry with somebody, and that's why I wrote that. And I mean, I can't believe that you took your time to correct my English, to correct my grammar, to correct my punctuation. So I just like to get to know you. And I was really taken aback. My wife was sleeping by my side. So I introduced myself, I told him more about myself. And I said, look, by the way you have been going on Facebook, I suspect that you might, consider running for president. And he said, well, I've played with the idea. And I said, I could help you. And just there and then, he told me, okay, put together a plan, put together a cost, and I'll get back to you. And so I got together with a friend of mine. His name is Joe Trippy, and I said, okay, this is what we can do. So we put together, a proposal. I sent it to him. We asked for $12,500 every month, which basically was going to come to me. My friend was just helping me, and I said, okay, here it is. I sent it off to him. And this man called me the same day and says, "Okay, well, this is a good proposal. I like it. Can I have account details?" And I thought he was going to send just the first $12,500. Actually, he said $25,000, and then he told me, subsequently, I'll be paying you $25,000 every 2 months. And at that point in time, I'd never received money like that, in one go. And so I started helping him out, started, putting together packages for him, helping him out on social media to create an army, raise an army that will help him for if he decides to run for president. And then that's just how things went. Now, one day, I had also seen a similar situation with a guy called Nasser El Rufai. At that time, he was on exile. And so I sent him an email and I put my phone number and I said, okay, well, lightning doesn't strike twice, but I don't think it's going to happen. And incidentally, I was with Pat Utomi when Nasser El Rufai called me. And so because I was with Pat Utomi, I mean, I think, maybe right now they call it a cloud chasing, but I think there was a transfer of credibility because I said, oh, by the way, I'm with Pat Utomi. Would you like to talk to him? And I gave the phone to Patutomi, and Patutomi said, "Oh yeah, I know him," and they talked, and then he gave me back the phone. So the whole idea that, oh, I knew Patutomi, it actually impressed Nasir El Rufai, and so he wanted me to do the same thing for him. And then I said, yeah. So I was doing the same thing for him. He wasn't paying me as much, but it was just like I really admired him. Nasir El Rufai is one of the most intelligent persons I've ever met. A lot of people think that, okay, he's this, he's that. He's really very intelligent. The only issue with him is that his intelligence is governed by ego, but he is that intelligent. About the only other person that I've met at that same level of intelligence is the current National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu. The difference between them is that Malam Nuhu Ribadu's intelligence is governed by conscience, while Nasser's is governed by ego. I know them that well. In any case, I was doing this for both of them, and then at that time, we had all of that crisis. After I'd done it for about a year or two, we had all of that crisis with Yaradua. He left the country, and then President Jonathan became acting president, and then he had already planned that, okay, he was going to run, he was going to contest, but he wanted to build a formidable tool, and his advisors at that time told me, that, look, this social media is going to blow up. It's going to blow up. And we've been hearing about one guy, I think he's been doing a lot of good work with Patutomi. And so let's contact him. And so I was contacted by one of his, let's say, aides, and like they told me, this is what we plan to do, and I said, yeah, I can help you. And they told me, okay, what can you deliver? Now, this is the principle. I under promised. I told them, okay, I could actually deliver you, if you give me maybe 6 months, I could deliver you 1 million followers on Facebook. And they told me 1 million? At that time, right now, yeah, 1 million is big, but at that time, it was almost impossible. And he told me 1 million. I said, yeah, in 6 months. I knew I could do it before 6 months, but I was under promising, so I could over deliver. So I told them if they paid me $30,000 as a start, and then they start paying me. I can't remember how much it was. I think maybe it was like maybe between $5,000 and $10,000 every month. And they told me, yeah, no problem, they're going to do it. They asked for my account details. Instead of paying me the $30,000, they gave me $50,000. And then they said pay me the monthly fees, and within 3 months, I delivered 1 million followers. And so it was unheard of all over the world. It was unheard of. So, as a matter of fact, the American Advertisers Association, they did a study on President Jonathan. They said he had written the playbook on how to use Facebook for political purposes. And then the next month, CNN did a feature on him. They called him the CNN president. So, I mean, the president was very, very happy. His aides that got to me were so happy, and so they gave me a bonus. And then all of that, I mean, I was that young. I was in my 30s. I was in my mid 30s. I mean, I had all of this money. I didn't know what to do. So I bought a house. I bought a convertible car, a Volvo C70, which is the equivalent of a Mercedes E53, and at that time, the house now is worth about $1 million. But I bought the house way back in 2009. I've since gone on to do some other things with the money. I bought stock. I invested in the S&P 500, and it was that money that enabled me to just become financially free for the rest of my life. I'm still living off that money till today. But the thing is, if it hadn't been with Patutomis, just sending him out that cold email, none of this would have happened. Eventually, yes, I was invited to join the Jonathan administration as one of his spokesmen, but all of that only happened because I just sent a cold email to Patutomi, and he responded that day, and he gave me an opportunity. So, Mr. Otomi, if you're watching this, thank you very much. And if you're a young person who was watching this, look, just take advantage of just this story and be inspired. A lot of people that you think that you cannot get through, they are on social media. Send them out a cold email, and when you sending them out a cold email, don't tell them, "I need this from you. I want this from you." No, that's human nature is not like that. People have egos. So what you want to do, you want to approach them, telling them what you can do for them, no matter how desperate, how poor, how broke, how disgusted you are. Don't think that they're going to want to help you because of your state. No, that's not human nature. So you got to reach out to them and then do it in a way that doesn't hurt their ego. So, for example, I could have told Patutomi, you did this wrong. I mean, what you wrote is full of grammatical errors. I can help you. I didn't do that. I said, sir, I think that maybe you were angry. So I gave him an opportunity to explain why he did that. And so because you were angry, that's why you did that. If you were not angry, you would not have done that. So you see, I appeal to his ego. That is one way that you can, because right now with social media, you're just 1 degree of separation between you and anybody. Elon Musk, people meet Elon Musk every day on X and other social media platforms. He's like that. Same thing with a lot of other people, with Aliko Dankote, with Otumba Mike Adenuga, Dr. Mike Adenuga, with Strive Masiyiwa. You can't reach these people. Now, this is Apostle of Prosperity Renomokri. Thank you for watching and may God bless.